Hello, this is Cheryl, and I'm so grateful you're joining me today. Trust that this safe and loving space is exactly where you are meant to be, to ignite your higher self and empower you in this very moment in time. There are no coincidences, so trust the nudges that call to you. As I open, channel, and share today's light-filled conversation, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. We are all working to uncover the truths that will serve us on our unique journeys. Each new day brings discovery, and this truth is always empowering, illuminating, and available to us. Now is your moment to deepen your spiritual connection. If it's light, it's right. Hello and welcome to another episode of It's Light, It's Right. And today we're going to start a wonderful series that I know that you're going to enjoy. It is a series on dreams. It's going to a 5-part series. Today is the part 1. It's really the introductory. I'm going to talk about dreams probably in a way that you have never thought about them. I did wait quite a while before I went into dreams because I really wanted you to feel your spiritual humming before I moved into this aspect. But it is truly eye-opening when you walk towards it, as anything spiritual, but especially dreams. Dreams. So it's a 5-part series, and every part will have a different type of dream or more than one dream. It's a very, very interesting series, and I really do encourage you to just give it an ear, right? Just listen and see what speaks to you and your truth in your heart. So again, this is the intro, the first episode of a 5-part series on dreaming in a spiritual sense, seeing it almost in a spiritual lens, and seeing how beautiful dreams are. Even if they seem scary, I'm hoping that after you finish this 5-part series that you'll understand that it isn't so scary when you open to it. And again, the shares. I'm going to talk about where dreams generally happen in our lives, in our day, and how our ego and spirit are at play during those times, and when that occurs, just to, again, really help you to see that dreams are a knock from our light. And I'm also going to talk about, just briefly, I'm going to open up the different types of dreams. I do categorize them in 5 different ways, but they're wide open. I really just kind of corral them collectively, but you see that there are all different types of dreams. And then for my share today, I'm going to talk about an interesting way that we see spirit. And I'm using that word we. And I am French, but I mean it as in collective, you and I. I love when I can see spirit with my human eyes, and I'm going to have a share explaining that, and a very um, exciting experience I had. But also, I'm going to give you some hints on how you see spirit, and I'm going to venture to guess that most of you have had at least one experience of this. So hang on for that share. So today is just the intro for the different types of dreams. In the next 4 episodes, I go into them a lot more deeper and shares to support that. So I start inquiring your mind and saying, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself as a dreamer? Because I'm going to be honest with you in my aspect, but also in my work. I see so many different levels of dreamers. Some people are like me and they're like, I don't dream that much. I don't dream that much. I know a little bit more now and better now that I've expanded my knowledge and expanded my want. And again, what you ask the universe to give you, they always give you. So I have become very spiritually educated on dreams. So even though I say, I don't remember my dreams, that is exactly what it is. It's not that I don't dream. I dream. We all dream. And so on the flip side, I hear many friends, family, clients. I'm a vivid dreamer. I dream in such crispness and like I'm walking in it in real life. And I always say, oh, can we talk? Because I need to let you know why this is happening and for you to open up deeper. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate myself today maybe a 3. And remember, just as life moves, so does ebbs and flows on dreams, right? So maybe you don't feel like you're a dreamer now, then all of a sudden explodes and you're like, I remember everything, like everything's coming in my dreams. It all is for a reason. Did you know the average person spends 6 years of their life dreaming? That's pretty interesting. And have you ever thought deeply about your dream time? So I know you're feeling me. I'm walking towards it, trying to move you into the curiosity phase, right? Some of you are listening. You're like, how does this have to do with spirituality? And I'm going to say it is all spirituality. If we in terms of how we embrace it. How we embrace it. And how about this question? Do we have right and wrong dreams? Does that exist? Like it's okay for me to dream this, but it's not okay to dream this. Let me throw some examples out. It's okay to dream about going on vacation and relaxing. It's not okay. It's a wrong dream if I dream I'm with someone else other than my husband, or my husband is with someone else other than me in the dream, right? That's a wrong dream. No, no, it's not, right? There's no right and wrong in dreams because there's no right and wrong in spirituality, right? It just doesn't exist. And just keep opening to that thought. And again, take what you need and leave the rest. But when you really open to it, there's another lens to look through. And so here's a thought to ponder. And this is truly what sparked and gave me this great epiphany of sort. I was talking with a friend and we were talking about dreams and very deeply, this person was a very deep dreamer and remembered everything where I'm, as I pretty much, I read, I hang in the 3 to 4 range. I'm not really a big dreamer. And then I thought to myself, well, our greatest gift given to us from Source, from God, is free will. So if we have free will and it extends everywhere, my dreams are not by chance. My dreams are purposeful. I just don't capture them as they go by me. There's a reason that I am creating these dreams. And when I had that epiphany and it was like a spiritual download, it just awakened me. And maybe it awakened you. Maybe you feel the same way. Like, why do I dream about these things? Why am I dreaming? And I'm going to fill in those blanks a little bit for you. Um, and you're going to fill in the blanks for you, right? Your uniqueness. So when do dreams generally occur in terms of our human day or our human existence, our physical world? They occur in REM sleep. So when we sleep, and I'm not going to get too technical because I don't know the science behind this. The non-REM is our deepest sleep. It's our deepest sleep, and that's at about 75%. That's when we do our astral traveling. That's when our spirits can move, when our conscious state is so deeply asleep. The REM is the lightest amount of sleep. It's about the 25% pocket. And of course, we're all different days, different situations. And during that time is when dreams actually occur, and they're created and occur at that time. And they're generally the ones that we remember, because remember, if we're not light asleep, that means we kind of open our eyes or open up our awareness, our consciousness, whatever word you want to. And that's generally, so dreams generally, the dreams that we remember and that mean something to us generally happen around 3 to 6 in the morning, because we're just, most likely we've gotten the deepest sleep underway, but it does go in cycles too. So just stay open to that. Now, let's talk a little bit more how dreams have a spiritual flair into them. I need to go back and talk to you about how our beings are half physical and half energy. right? We are half human. We have half human and physical, three-dimensional states to us, and we are half energy, right? Our spirit, our higher spirit, our loved ones, all that of light is all that's all energy. Our God center in our heart, that's all energy. So you must understand that that is a connection that comes with the dream state. Because dreams, as I mentioned, they don't happen by accident. We create them. And you're saying right now, well, why would I create? Let's go to the nightmares, because that's what everybody always um, kind of gears into, right? Because nightmares are scary. I call them release dreams. I don't call them nightmares, but it's in that pocket. I need to also remind you that our higher self, our love of the light and of the journey is always extending their hand, always helping us in this journey. So our higher self speaks to our human or our physical, our our everyday bodies through dreams. Through dreams, it's one aspect. It doesn't mean it happens every time, 100% of the time, but just lean in for me, okay? Just lean in and understand that there is a communication. Our higher self is always trying to help us through this journey, and this journey is difficult. This journey is tough, right? We lose loved ones. We say things we didn't mean in conversations with colleagues. We make mistakes. We feel guilty about things that maybe we said to our children at some. You know how difficult this journey is, and how those little things sometimes eat you. They eat and eat and eat with you. Eat your journey. Well, your higher self is saying, "Hey, let me help you. Let me help you and work those out." And how I'll do that is I'll bring it to your human self through a dream. And that dream you will wake up to and remember. So stay there, because when we awake in our dreams, we now have our consciousness, right? We have our ego. And that's going to be an important pulse for you to kind of see how it can be all spiritual, or it can be ego, or it could be full ego. And there's no point A to point B talking about dreams and spirituality and that connection. So when we get a dream that speaks to us, right, that we wake up with, that speaks to us, it's meant to speak to us. It's meant to speak to us in a way that is comfort and light, but we don't always interpret it that way. Dreams are a way for your higher self to give you mental health, almost to release that powder keg of things that are on your mind or on your thinking, and just to kind of help them to come to the surface. And it's a relationship, again, a beautiful alliance between your human self and your subconscious or your lighted self, your ego versus spirit, I like to say too. So let me just explain it a little bit deeper. I'm going to put a little example in before we take our break. So when we talk about dreams, all dreams, we have to discern the difference between ego and spirit. We have to, right? Half physical, half energy. So I need you also to remember that when you awake, when you're like, wow, I'm in a dream. Wow, that's a dream. That your human self is also awake. And so those human emotions that carry an awake mind, and remember, our brain is three-dimensional. So when we're thinking, we're in our humanness beautifully, right? 99% of the time, I always say, 1% we're in pure light, and 99% we're human. So that is where our ego emotions also reside: fear, sadness, guilt, right? Those are three humdingers. And when we are in ego, in our dreams, again, we just awoken to a dream. And I'll give you an example. Sometimes it's hard to decipher the symbols that you create to help you. And you jump to your ego and those emotions of, oh, this is bad, right? This is bad. This is fear. Why did I have that dream? Why did that come in? I don't like that. Remember, when you're awake, your ego's awake as well. So be very mindful Be very mindful. And when you stay with these, the next episodes that are coming, especially the last one, I show you how to interpret your dreams, what the key pieces are to remember about your dreams, because they are not here to haunt you and to make you more sad, and they are here to help. That is what our higher self does in the creation. But our humanness, dang humanness, will try and wreak havoc as it does, right? So we have to be mindful of that. We have to be mindful of that because our humanness, our ego, doesn't always know how to deal with those problems and issues that we're in our life with, right? Because I compound it, right? Maybe in my karmic trail that I'm following, I'm insecure. I came into this lifetime feeling insecure, so my dreams are just feeding that in. I'm more insecure. But remember, your higher self doesn't give you those dreams. We don't create those dreams to reinforce those human emotions. They do it to try and help you to work through that. And again, stay with this 5-part series, and you'll see how you can uncover what your higher self, what your beautiful light is trying to give you, and be open for what comes your way, your downloads as you're listening to these episodes, because that is also how spirit works, right? The messages and the guidance just arrives, and we just have to be open to understand it. So now let's talk about subconsciousness in your spirit during dream state. And I'll give you, again, that example that will show you both ways. So our spirit emotions, unlike the human fear, sadness, and guilt, our spirit emotions are kind and loving and giving and an alliance, right? All those beautiful words. I like to say verbs too, that help us in our journey. And our higher self knows the symbols that we're giving. They author it. Our higher spirit, in light and love and all comfort, authors those symbols so we can awaken to them, so we can see what is trying to be felt, what is trying to be sent your way, to interpret it for the love and comfort that it's meaning to. And sometimes the comfort is just putting it to the surface. Let's just get it there, right? It's not meant to injure you more, although our ego side sometimes plays it that way. And truly, this walk is tough. This journey is difficult. So sometimes those things that get brought up are also difficult too, but they're never meant to come into harm with you. It's generally that's when our humanness takes it, and it takes it for a boat ride down the wrong river. So we know the symbols, our higher self, our spirit, God center, soul, whatever word speaks to you, our intuition, it knows the symbols that it's meant to. Because just as I do readings as a medium, I always say, I wish they could just sit there and say, all right, Cheryl, tell Sally over there, bump, 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 bump. Okay, Sally, bump, bump. That is not how any medium works. They work with all their psychic abilities, trying to decipher. Spirit is working through me and my symbols and how I collect messages. But remember, and then they have to extend it to who that message is going to. The highly intellectual spirit, they know what they're doing, and truly, I just hang on for the ride, and give the messages that I'm interpreting. So that is how your higher self works with you as well. Your higher self channels, just as I channel in a different way, but you channel for the messages that will make sense to you. And that's why you can't open a book and say, oh, that's right. That's that. When I see that symbol, that's what that means. And that's some of them I call them archetypes. So sometimes they are an A to A. Like generally, when you see a cross, it generally means something religious or spiritual. Like there are archetypes. There are very obvious ones that we all collective, but again, not one size fits all, and not one symbol fits all. So stay open to that, right? Stay open to what your symbol and what that means to you as we're going through, because that's how spirit will communicate with you. They will open up your spiritual third eye, your brain, and they are going to talk to you in a way that you will receive that if you're open for it. And no spiritual rules, no have tos, no time, no judgment. So always know that as well. But they're always helping us to get to that light of truth. And when we create dreams, that is a vehicle to help comfort us in our journey, to comfort ego, to comfort our physical and human selves. That it is a beautiful alliance, and how the mind being the human mind, we're constantly in alliance to help in this journey, always to help in this journey. So let me give you a quick example. I had a friend that called me one day recently and said, "Oh, Cheryl, I had the most bizarre dream last night." And I said, "Okay." And of course, she was asking me to open to what was channeling when she was talking. And she goes, "There were giants, like in terms of the giants, like a giant, like the Raoul Dahl's books, giants, like they're enormous. And she's this little bitty thing, kind of waffling in and out of the giants. And she was very scared of that. She's like, "What is that all about?" Like that was very frightening. And she knows her spirit so well. And I said, "But your ego took hold of that. The giants were there. The giants were there when I opened to that interpretation. The giants were there, but they weren't there for her fear. They were there as strength. They were there saying, 'I'm here. I will protect you. I will be in there. I will protect you from all.'" And at that time in her life, she was in a very vulnerable state. And so, but when her humanness awoke to um, this amazing story that was unfolding in front of her, she immediately went to fear. Like, "Oh my gosh, like what is going on?" But that is when the humanness took hold of that. And so I said to her, I said, "How were you feeling when you were in your dream? Not when your consciousness or your brain awoke to the dream, but in the dream, how were you feeling?" She's like, "I was feeling like, this is so interesting." I go, "Did you feel fear in your dream? Were you scared to be in that space with those giants?" And she's like, "No, it was kind of interesting. I wasn't." Because what got channeled even further is her higher self brought her to a time in her very younger self as a child, and how she loved giants. In that book immediately showed itself when she brought in that. She's like, "I did. I loved that notion of that." That environment of all these beautiful, friendly, big friendly giants. And so again, when we married those together, she found truth in her heart and how that fit, and gave her comfort for the journey that she was on at that very moment in time. But again, her consciousness and her ego, when it awoke, it brought her to a different place. But when she opened up and quieted all that chatter, she saw things differently. She saw things differently, and she knew that she was in a place that was giving her comfort. So we're going to take a short break, and I will be right back. And I'm going to just outline the different types of dreams and their meanings. I'll be right back. So the different types of dreams and their meanings, again, they're just collective. They're just like there's anything in our world. There's so many different denominations of. I kind of compartmentalize them into 5, but again, be open to the interpretation, and follow the next episodes and see how that keeps unfolding for you. Remember, you have all of the same collective knowledge. All that I express on my podcast are all housed in our hearts. It might sound a little different or have a little different dialect or a hue to it, but it's all the same collective information. So the different types of dreams, information and problem solving. This is probably my pocket dream. This is when I dream that this is the dreams that help me. So these are dreams that provide insight, guidance, or solutions to challenging things in your waking life. I have an issue with a coworker, or there was maybe a little altercation of words, and kind of playing that out. And is this important? Those are the kind of things that will kind of wake you up and have meaning to them. And it's so interesting too. Sometimes I don't wake up in those dreams. I wake up in the morning and go, all right, I got it. I have the answer, but I don't remember the dream that supplied that to me. Sometimes I'll even wake up singing a song, and that song supports that issue I had, in some way, or it resonates with me and gives me my answers. And I just I would say thank you so much for that, because in my heart, it means something to me. I understand what that is for. The next type of dream that we will go into in episodes to come is a wish or memory dream. And those are the sweetest, enjoyable dreams, cherished memories and desires. Sometimes I even call them entertainment. Sometimes I start my dreams, and because we can start our own dreams, there's no law that says we can't. Right? That's no rules. There's no rules in spirituality. So sometimes I just start my own dream. All right, where do I want to go today or tonight? Or what do I want to make happen in my dream? Maybe that's part of where I'm kind of coming from the day or the week, or maybe I want to change the direction of something that's not so happy and sweet. So be open to that. You are the author. You hold all the spiritual hands on that. So embrace that empowerment, right? Embrace that. And again, that's what my hope is for these episodes, for you to see, oh, these are not just happenstance. These, I create these. I can become part of those dreams and take them to a different place, which you'll see I did in episodes to come. I do step into my dreams and work out some of my issues of the day. So stay tuned for that too, because the next type is called the release dreams, and the release dreams are our nightmares. But just as the word is phrased, release, it's our higher spirit giving us softly something that we need to release. They're dreams that bring up fears, nightmares we call them sometimes, or highlight areas that we need healing and attention with. So be open. First of all, dreams cannot harm you. Dreams are just always meant to help, to give you alliance in some way. Or I would say maybe they're nothing too. Maybe they're not meant to be anywhere. When you wake up from a dream and you kind of like, oh my goodness, what was that all about? If you wake up with that kind of feeling, then there's probably something for you to identify with the dream. But very often I dream and I'm like, oh, that was kind of interesting. But it doesn't spark a deeper movement for me, or a deepness where I go, wow, what was that all about? So again, be aware of when the dreams are important and when they're not so important. And very often when we author dreams so we will wake up, right? Because if we don't wake up, then our humanness really doesn't register what our higher self is trying to give us. So sometimes events are extremely vivid, or maybe some fantastical elements come into play that you're like, what was that? Right? But again, that's the gentle nudge of waking up. And you can also ask yourself to wake up. And when that dream comes your way, or you ask for help, that it comes and you ask, please help me to remember my dreams, or to wake me up when the dreams come. You have all that power, right? It's all with the intent. It's all with the beautiful intent. The next type of dreams is prophetic dreams. And I have a lot to say on prophetic dreams when you get to that episode. It's dreams that offer glimpses into the future, revealing what may come. And I talk about very, very specifically the ego versus the spirit in these dreams. Prophetic dreams are dreams that we see what will happen in the future. And we live in a present, past, and future dimension, which as a human, I always say that in my episodes, I have a hard time with that because I am so black and white when it comes to facts. But I do trust, and that's what I'm told to do. Just open your heart and trust that it is, even if you can't make sense of it in human form. But prophetic dreams are a very unique type of dream. And you will be surprised that prophetic dreams are not always big scale. It could be very small scale. Like seeing someone in your dream and the next day you see them and you hadn't seen them in years. That's a prophetic dream. But sometimes we have more ego and we think that it's deeper than it is. For instance, if you see something that maybe a car accident, you get into a car accident and you say, "Oh my goodness, I'm not getting in a car tomorrow. I saw I was going to be in an accident." That's not always prophetic. In fact, it generally isn't. It's more of a release dream, right? You're afraid of something, or that car accident means something else. So don't think anything. Don't be cautious with your ego and how that will penetrate if you allow it to go all to go to that place, right? That fear and that place that we don't want to go to. Prophetic dreams are very unique, and they don't happen often, and they don't happen to most of us. So be open to that, and I invite you to come and listen with that. And astral travel. Astral travels are dreams where our spirit or spirits of others travel and visit. And we talked about a little bit that when we were talking about the REM sleep. And there's some really interesting facts I bring forward in that series, that episode as well. So again, astral travel is a very spiritual dream, and so is prophetic. The other three dreams are more alliance with humanness. So those are the quick overviews. We're going to go into depth for each one of them in each episode. And I'm gonna now move into my share. I'm gonna take a quick break and then move you into my share and talk about how I and you can see spirits with your human eyes and what is the most efficient way of doing that. I'll be right back. So when I see spirit with my human eyes, I told you at the beginning of this episode, I get so excited. I get so excited because I see them so often in my mind's eye that when I see them with my human eyes, I'm like wowed. So this share I'm going to do is actually a share of that. But I want to also tell you that when you see spirit with your human eyes, you most efficiently see them through your peripheral vision, your side vision, not so much head on with your eyes. And by saying that, I want to encourage you to, when you think that you saw something, generally you did. If you truly feel like something just went by, like right to the right of me. And the reason being that is because our brain, remember, we're awake. So we need to capture that, right? We need to capture that knowledge. And so when we see our peripheral vision, it's easier for the brain to take that and register that to our mind. It's a faster way. The speed and frequencies are faster than if I was just looking straight on with both of my eyes. So it really is a physical explanation of sort of seeing spirit, of truly seeing spirit, and how we generally see them because we can register it faster through our peripheral vision. And that is exactly how what this share is going to be about. So again, I get really excited when it happens. So I'm going to just outline my share, and I can guarantee you that many of you have had this experience. Or I'm going to say you're preaching to the choir. I know I believe you. I believe you because spirit is everywhere. And this share is not a ghost. I do see ghosts on occasion with my human eyes. I see them again still more on my mind's eye, but on occasion I do see them with my human eyes. But this is a spirit from the other side that was just kind of coming in to give me a little hello. So I was in the kitchen of my house, and I have a cutout in that kitchen that goes to the stairs. And I was at the sink, around the sink, and I saw a spirit walk by through my peripheral, walked by that cutout very slowly, not fast, not like a just sauntered right through it. And I said, "Wow." I said, "My son must be home. I didn't think he was home." And so I called him and he didn't answer. And so I went to the window to see if his car was there. His car wasn't there. And I was like, okay, wow. Because it was like a full form. And not only full form, I didn't see the face. I just saw the outline of the body. And it was tall. I felt like it was a male, although again, I just saw the movement of the silhouette almost, but it was a full form. It wasn't like I would see spirit, ever so, the frequency being so high and more wispy energy. It was contained energy. And being a full believer and knowing its spirit and opening my heart for that experience and for that knowledge, I was like, wow, there was a full spirit that just visited me. I know that. So when I went into finding out more, because sometimes I'm like, okay, that was nice, thank you. But sometimes I want to know more. So when I went in to find out more of this spirit that visited me, and certainly purposeful visit because he wanted me to see him. And so when I went in, I identified who that spirit was. And it was a young man that had passed of cancer. And I didn't know him personally, but I knew of him. I knew of the family, and that sort of thing. But I didn't know him personally. And he told me to write down the date, which I did. I don't keep a journal as much as I did many years ago, but I did write down the date. And he said the message would come in the future with his parents. And I said, "Okay." And I knew of his parents in a light fashion, certainly not any friends or in friend circle. Um, but what was so interesting, and again, the beautiful, uh, the experience in the intellect of spirit in that present, past, and future dimension, knowledge that they have so deeply. I'm hanging on by a thread with it, but they're 100% into it, as you know. And so the conversation did happen. It happened almost 5 years to the exact day that I saw that man, young man. And when he said to write it down, that was instrumental for me, because he was giving me a gift of seeing that, um, not only seeing the spirit full on, which I love, but also giving the experience of the communication. And I did talk to the parents, and we did lightly talk about their son, but it wasn't a reading. It wasn't anything bigger. And but it was so interesting because that 5 years, it was also not only the date, but the event. I had just come back, that 5 years prior, that day I saw him, I had just come back from, an event called a, retirement party. It was a retirement party, and I had that, and on that day, 5 years later, when I did see his parents, it was at the same retirement dinner. 5 years, almost to the exact day, because I wrote down everything, and I wrote down all his messages, but that wasn't to be shared, at least at this point, if ever. But that's okay, right? But I was like, "Oh my goodness." And I thanked him for that experience that he gave me. And again, he also showing himself so fully to me. Um, and so all things of spiritual beauty was at hand for me. It didn't make sense to me the time he visited me. But when he said write down the date and some messages and some pieces of what the day included, 5 years later to the day, again, you hear in my voice, I was amazed by spirit, as I'm sure you are as well. So those peripheral visions, they really are. They're, if you feel as though something kind of shot by you, the chances are it did, because when it just comes that fast, you don't have time to think. right? That thinking is not part of humanness, it's part of spirit. But you certainly can go and validate that for yourself, right? Quiet that earth's chatter and ask and see how your answer resonates. And if it feels light, it is right. It is right. There is a peace that you have just received. So as we close out this first episode, remember, your dreams are never random. They are messages written in light, crafted by your soul, and delivered with love. Even when they stir discomfort or confusion, their purpose is always to guide, support, and reconnect you with your truth. Whether they bring release, comfort, or glimpses into a deeper knowing, dreams are one of the higher self's most tender ways of reaching you. So honor your dream space. Reflect with curiosity, ask with openness, and know that you are never walking this path alone, even when you sleep. This is just the beginning. In the next episode of this 5-part series, we'll explore prophetic and informational dreams, what they are, how to recognize them, and how they might be gently revealing what's to come. Until then, if it feels light, it is right. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for allowing me to accompany you on your journey today. There's so much for us to explore and learn together. If there's a light-filled topic you're curious about, or if you just want to reach out, I'd love to connect. Follow me on social media at Cheryl Bradley Medium, or visit CherylBradley.com to explore my offerings and events. I hope today's episode has filled you with the light to carry with you until we meet again. And let the title of this podcast stay with you today and every day. If it's light, it's right. Blessings on your journey. Thank you for allowing me to accompany you on your journey today. There's so much for us to explore and learn together. If there's a light-filled topic you're curious about, or if you just want to reach out, I'd love to connect. Follow me on social media at Cheryl Bradley Medium, or visit CherylBradley.com to explore my offerings and events. I hope today's episode has filled you with the light to carry with you until we meet again. And let the title of this podcast stay with you today and every day. If it's light, it's right. Blessings on your journey.